7 o'clock. I'm gonna call the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen meeting to order, with a tape recorder on. All three selectmen are present for Thursday, June 23rd. Reporting for the town of, the town administrator is on a personal matter. Reporting for the citizens of Dunbarton is Mr. Leo Martell. And I believe Linda Nickerson, I closed it for him.
Yep.
Okay. Gentlemen, we have some old, minutes to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve, the regular meeting minutes,
I'll second that.
and the date is gonna be, June 9th, 2022, as amended slightly.
Yeah, any discussion, gentlemen?
Nope. Good job, huh?
Yep, as always.
Justin, you hit that next one?
Yep, I make a motion to approve the 8:13 PM non-public minutes on June 9th, 2022.
I'll second Justin's motion.
Discussion, they are not to be sealed, they are open, correct?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one, I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session of June 9th at 8:39 PM.
Second.
Any discussion on those, gentlemen?
No.
And just for the record, those are not to be sealed either. And put them in a pile for them.
She generally makes some quick notes of that, just in case that recording fails. I just thought who made the motions on which one, on the agenda.
Okay, I'm gonna open up for public comment. Bob, anything? Nope. No public comment, I'll close public comment, and I'll bring it down to town business. One of the things we've got down here is, we have some documents we have to sign for the bond, for the bond that we passed at town meeting this year. We had a little discussion this week on email, you saw that kind of like Lean went through, and got some questions answered, how to interpret the interest rate. For the record, when we first started this at town meeting, we were projecting, just under 2%, so it went up, it's 5% more, it's 2% and a change, net interest rate. For this market, we still getting a great deal on the bond.
How they work the bond was, unbeknownst to selectmen, but they end up increasing the bond rate, but then you don't pay the full amount back. And it's the way that bonds have always been done, we checked with our town attorney, so by not paying the full amount back, we're just paying slightly 1% more than what we had thought when we projected the rates.
You get
back
like
in June at the town meeting.
$30,000 discount.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
But if we didn't get the discount, we would have 5%, and that was our question initially. But with that discount, they have a really challenging way of doing their accounting.
And one is how they make any money.
So I asked Lean to go back to the lady that did the bonds for the state and give us back all the original paperwork
You know what I mean?
and follow it through. And the lady explained it, and our town attorney explained it, and I guess it's the way it's done. It just doesn't seem right, but it's the way it's done.
I just need signatures, we're just in the, we're going through the motion, we're signing off on the bond, it goes to our lawyers tomorrow, and, hopefully we're gonna check soon in the mail, so we can execute.
It said something about potential funding date like the end of July or something. I read it some of the paperwork.
The regular minutes,
I'm sorry?
you have the regular minutes for you, so.
Sorry.
Excellent.
What are we doing on the blue ones, Mike?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
The other thing too is because they've been increasing the rates of the interest, state bonds, city bonds, municipal bonds, and so that increases the cost of those slightly also, so it has an impact on everything.
I just think, we had discussions in November with Jeff, the timing was just perfect for us. I think if we waited another calendar year, the interest rate would have been unbearable.
You're still on the cheap side, because we're going by spring versus the current, you know, and we have a bigger impact.
And the feds are just toying with another interest by the end of July. So it's gonna be interesting. Okay. As soon as you set, could sign that one off. Dave, I'm gonna ask you for that, for just a quick overview of the
Okay, I
Transfer
went and
station.
talked to the transfer station manager, Patrick Baum, to get some updates in reference to his vacation. He's gonna take this Saturday off, and Wooten's gonna cover him. We've checked with a couple of his employees that, have gone to do other jobs through the summer, and they're willing to come back. Both Cameron's coming back for Saturdays, and, Ed Wooten's coming back, and also Dave is coming back to cover different vacation times he has. So that was good to see those employees are willing to come back and cover some Saturdays and weekdays to make sure he has coverage while he's off. With the two employees we have there now, it looks like it's gonna work out. I do have his, dates, for vacation for the board, and I'll give them to the board, no need to read them.
No,
public,
that's
I
fine.
think.
In fact, town administrator should probably be,
Yep.
that's all she needs.
The other thing that came up when I spoke with him was, he did speak with the people that are doing the, recycling of brush and or stumps down there on Ray Road. And they are willing to take, and I told them I'd bring it to the board and see what you thought. They're willing to take all our burnable brush in there and turn it into chips or whatever they do with it.
One time or all the time?
All the time, and, he said he could haul it down there, you know, weekly or bi-weekly, however they had to, it's a nice facility to haul to. My only thought was, I've been a selectman, I think 5 years now, we've only had one complaint of some ash dust going on somebody's car, but so far, we haven't had any complaints, and I'm worried once we stop doing it, if we go to start doing it again or something, if something happens to that facility down there, we might not be able to do it, and right now, we're kind of grandfathered in doing it, and he did say that there is some labor savings, and he would come in and talk with us if we wanted to approach him.
We have to have, pay for the trucking.
Well, yeah, we paid, but just from, I'm talking a mile down the road, you know.
Okay.
So,
I'm open, I have no agenda one way or the other.
my only thought was, I told him, I said, we did get some complaints already about the amount of traffic on that road, with them hauling more often.
Ray Road, you're talking.
Yeah, on Ray Road, and even though that pit has the ability to do that, I didn't wanna kind of increase it by starting that now, but I wanted to throw it off the board. Woody said something we should think about, and, you know, we could kind of push it around amongst ourselves. The other thing, if we do go down that road, we would probably dig in where that pit is, maybe Jeff could do it, or we could dig in, so that way when people put brush in, it's more dropping it in the bin, so then we just haul the bin like normal.
Greener for the environment too.
So, I'm not sure about the digging portion of it. Jeff, do you take anything from the town there now as far as brush or stumps to them?
No, but they have informed us if we do, the need arises, we're more than welcome to,
Okay.
but we haven't as of yet.
So that's where we are with that, and I guess, I'm a little scared to go that way, cause if something happens and they shut that down, can we burn again? You know, right now, I know we can burn, cause we're kinda grandfathered into that. I just don't know, I think we should find that out before we stop doing it.
Okay, I'd say put it on the table, just keep it on the table.
One other thing, Woody notified me of is, and Lean also, got the same information. Sooner or later, the selectmen, the liaison, liaison on the board, the select board will have to be a certified operator down there as well.
So you'd be taking the videos too?
Well, I was thinking Justin might take it over. But no, so that is something the state's working, towards, as people turn over at these transfer stations, they wanna make sure that somebody on the select board is aware of what their job requirements are.
Okay.
You can always fill in.
So,
Hey, if you get off the board, you still be certified, you get a part-time job.
yeah.
When you retire.
So right now, one of our guys is certified down there, and the last person that's, left to do is our new employee. And Woody has a 4-part, 45-minute presentation he's gonna take right in his own office on the computer there to get him certified.
And the other thing is Woody gonna, from this day forward, will manage his own, absences with
That's right.
replacements?
Yeah.
I just wanna get that on the record.
Yeah, so he would like to call in either those 3 guys that are our previous workers to cover him during his time.
Okay, excellent. And his projected projected vacation maybe in August sometime.
Yeah, we're looking at, a date towards the middle of August and a date, the end of September, beginning of October.
Okay.
And that's still just partial weeks, he has a lot of vacation, so he never seems to get to take it all.
Okay, any other concerns? Thank you, David.
All right, we did talk about his floating holidays, cause you're supposed to take those as quick as you can.
Yes.
And he says, I'm trying to,
Okay. Well, the thing is,
eliminate employees down there right now.
if Eddie wants to work a few Saturdays, he could have a nice weekend.
I think he's starting to work that in, cause this Saturday's gonna give him like 4 days off in a row, so this is kind of the start of his.
And just for the record, I wanna give him kudos for managing his overtime.
Okay.
It has not been abused. The thing is, I don't think he ever really abused it, I take that word back, but the thing is, it was getting a little excessive, but he's doing a great job managing it now.
Yeah.
So, just for the record. Okay. And
All right.
I'll move on.
Yep.
Amy, come on up.
Having you back. Last time, I didn't,
Right, you were talking about, beautification efforts.
yes, yeah, and you had, given us permission to do it, with certain guidelines. You said that you wanted only annuals there. When I presented it to the garden club, there was a lot of concerns because, obviously annuals will have to be planted every year. So, there's a couple of things that got discussed, at length at the garden club. We're wondering if it would be possible if we planted perennials, and at the end of the season, we would cut them way back. And that way, we wouldn't have to go through the expense, of every year planting something new. And it is, kind of a learning curve here, because nothing's ever been planted there.
I'd say, I have no issue with that at all. I think it's,
We have no issue, I think the only reason we were looking at annuals is because I think Jeff might destroy most of that
Yes.
area during the plowing time.
Which is okay, we understand.
yeah.
And I just wanna make sure they were well aware of that, because you gotta
Sure.
plow there, that's a.
Oh, yeah,
so.
exactly.
But the ones towards the center where you could some perennials would be less likely to be
Right, yeah.
damaged, right?
And then, speaking of the center too, what we wanted to do, so we didn't have a whole bunch of plants to work with, is to, put some decorative rock in there. We can get them free from the members, everybody seems to have a lot of rocks around here.
Big rocks.
Yeah, nothing huge, because we have to be able, to move it, but we did want some, with a bit of height, so we've got something interesting there, but it'll be in the center, well away from anywhere that it might
Be plowed.
get plowed or hit or something. It would be like around in the
Jeff, do you-
middle part.
I have no idea.
that's, I don't wanna bring you into the,
Yes.
she wants to put some bigger rocks in the center here. As long as they're not on the edge, I
Yeah,
think
they
there's no
would
problem.
be
What's your concern?
more like this, Jeff, because it's 31 feet at the widest, and then it's 21 feet.
My
long.
vote from the road agent perspective and the whole maintenance thing is no. I understand why people wanna do it, to help beautify it. The only thing, a couple things to think about, people do pull off the side of the road for parking, for going to church activities and stuff, and opening the door and maybe hitting a rock or something.
Well, these are.
Or like I said, we run out of room pretty quickly with snow, we try to push it to the side as much as
Sure.
possible. I mean, I don't blame you for doing it, but just strictly from the maintenance side of it,
Yeah, so.
I would, if I had to vote on it, I'd
Yeah.
vote no, not to be mean,
No,
but just,
and I
yeah,
understand
just
your
from
point
that background.
completely.
But I think we can work with whatever you decide.
As long as it's somebody located, so it's not, you're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with the understanding that if something does happen, it wasn't intentional.
Oh, sure. So,
That would be my,
We could put some target mailboxes up there for practice.
yeah, we could. We could. That's all, I get it.
So if we were to, because this is 31 feet deep, if we were to put it, because we don't want to impinge at
Yeah.
all on
Yeah.
here,
Yeah, the thing is, if you keep it, what I'm thinking is, keeping it very
pretty much. Yeah.
central,
Yes, exactly.
so
Because I get it, the area looks pretty crappy
Yeah, it
all the
does,
time.
yeah.
Last year, well, just to give you an example, last year park mulch was put there, and we saw what happened to
Didn't
that
work,
through the
yeah.
winter, yeah.
Well,
So, I mean, that's the only thing.
So what we do have in mind, just so, we're all on the same page and everybody understands, if we do one kind of central rock and then two just small,
I think, as long as you keep it
And I-
more central.
okay,
One thing I would advise too is whatever you plant, it would be, should be a low bush
yes.
for sight distance when people come out of there looking left or right.
Yeah, and that's what they had said,
Yeah.
nothing over 3
Yeah.
feet, but I don't think we'd ever get anything
Yeah,
that
no,
tall.
I just,
And
just my
remember,
thoughts.
remember, it's gonna be experimental.
Exactly.
What does the state like for dollar 13? Salt.
Yeah, and
exactly.
that's it, we have to have something that's gonna be
Salt
salt tolerant, you know, and everything else, so it will be kind of experiment.
Yeah. Gentlemen, do you have any concerns? You have a
And,
concern from the public, go ahead.
I'm also from the
Yes.
Dunbarton
Yeah.
Garden Club, so you wanted me about the
Yeah.
digging out, okay?
yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
The other thing was that, you know, the town buys the.
Can we get your names for Eric, just so?
Nora Lamarck,
Okay.
Dunbarton Garden Club.
And Enid Larson, Garden Club. Sorry, I didn't start well.
That's okay.
The other thing was, we were wondering about, you know, every year, the town buys the, bark mulch that we spread on the commons and all that. Since this is also a town, property, would you be willing to supply that bark mulch? The price that we got was, $37 a yard, and I don't think we're gonna need a whole lot, cause we don't want it
I
going all over.
think that's fine, such a small amount.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
we'd have to get it delivered though too.
No, what, oh, okay. Alrighty, I mean, if,
It's only 2 or 3 yards, so.
and if that's an issue, what we can do, we've got enough, trucks in the garden club that we could probably
Yeah,
get
pick up,
somebody to.
normally go to urine.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got, like, Tom Casano has big
Yeah.
trucks.
But remember what the road agent said though.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's here today and then we're gone in by January.
Yeah, well, what we're thinking about doing too, because we need to put topsoil in there, you know, because it's just sand. We're gonna dig down some, and we already have had 2 different gentlemen, both Ken Kerber and another man down on 13 that said we could take the bit that we dig out of
That's
there.
great,
Yeah, so,
Just don't undermine the road.
no, we won't be sinking the town offices.
Okay.
And then we are wondering too, let's see. What else were we wondering?
I think you've covered everything, you know, the digging out and replacing it with topsoil.
And next spring we can just talk about the town library, the town hall building.
Yes, yeah, since we'll be up there, okay, I think that was it, so,
Okay.
thank you very much.
No, thank you for what you're doing.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
oh, thank you.
I think the town appreciates it.
We'll get going and probably, we're having, Lincoln, Ruthier is kind of designing for it, he's the one that won the, scholarship for the
Right.
garden club, so,
You
his
put in the
schedule
work.
is kind of, yes, we are. Okay, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I guess, once you get a bill for that, just get it for lien.
Okay,
It's small.
Yeah,
thank you.
we'll do that out of the maintenance, Eric.
Okay.
Okay, we have some correspondence from the building department regarding the town hall.
Yeah, I see a request to have them put the, snow fence around the parking lot like we talked about, and I'm in favor of that because it was talked about.
Yeah, and the second thing he asked for was, at the pre-construction meeting, a list of just some telephone contacts, we still haven't got that.
Yes. Yep,
Okay,
and I did speak with Chicoine this week about getting that permit stuff, and that list of contacts should be on the permit, so
so he's gonna just spend the morning, get it done.
yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, if you noticed through an email, there was some discussion on, wanting, some installation on the foundation.
Yep.
And they would took it, it would be above grade, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Mike, they were talking about doing 1.5 inches of rigid insulation on the outside of that foundation above grade, and, trying to put some stucco head or aluminum to cover it. And, I talked with Mike Cummings about it earlier this week, and, he sent this letter out because the architect is asking for it. Her plans say sees the structural, plans for the insulation on that section of the building, and there is none. So their plans kind of just like the wall insulation contradict each other. My thought is it shouldn't be out there because, if somebody weed whacks or walks up or kicks the edge of the building, the blue foam's gonna kick off and the stucco's not gonna hold up, it never has, and the aluminum, I've seen kind of corrodes and puts holes in it and it turns like a whitish color, and I'm not sure what's in that polystyrene, but it just, the aluminum, reacts funny with it.
And I know for a fact, the thing is, when I was building my house, I was considering there's insulation on the outside of the building. The problem is, there's any insect infestation, you're talking about termites, you're gonna have a wonderful way they're gonna be camouflaged. I know they put insect repellent, insecticide in there, but still, I don't think it's gonna be enough, and I think it would just be a liability in the future.
And the only other thing is, I like when you look up there right now, you see the foundation of the old building, you see the foundation of the new building, it'll all look more uniform without having that.
John, we have, your thoughts?
I don't like the idea of putting it on the outside.
So I think we have consensus
Yep.
not to go with that. And the thing is, the decision, they gave a decision as to which way we wanna go, so I think,
You guys can initial it. Eric, can you send, Mike Cummings a copy of that, and CC Caroline at the ethics office?
okay, it's this time of year again, know what time of year it is? The illegals are running rampant in our town. No, I jest a little bit, when I say illegals, I'm talking about dogs not being registered, okay? And,
We're still sending the cops after.
and the thing is, the town clerk actually did some research into it, see if there was any wiggle room. And the way the RSA's are written, it's not, may, or it's will, they shall. And the thing is, it's very specific how we have to be proactive in this, not proactive, but adherence to the law, the RSA. It's warrant, so it's, what she's basically asking for is a warrant to issue for civilian forfeiture. It's, basically goes to the, from the selectmen, we direct the town, the chief, of the police department, to execute warrants for those dogs who want license. And, I'd like to speak to, the chief before he starts doing anything on that. I just want to give him some specific instructions that was relayed to me by the town clerk. So, gentlemen, are we all in favor of this?
Yep.
We're gonna, we're gonna be signing the warrant.
I hate to, but we're gonna lock the dogs out.
How many dogs are there?
I think
She won't tell us till the next round. This just gives her the opportunity to do it, and then
She might get some,
we don't say the names, but we can tell you how many.
Yeah, but
There's been about 25 from, previous years.
it's less than last year.
Well, the thing is, and for the record, the thing is, it's a verification of rabies prevention, and that's what it's all about. Because, if a child gets hit, or anyone gets bit by a dog and has been, rabies protected, that means they have to go through rabies prevention with a lot of shots. I think, Eric, you can relate to that.
Absolutely.
Not exactly.
Series of 6 shots, definitely uncomfortable.
You've been bitten by a.
And so it's not a matter of collecting fees, it's a matter of, protecting the public safety.
I don't even think there is a list in there for us, but it's not even close to 25.
Yes, there is a list in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure my dog's not white. My dog's just plain mean, but vaccinated.
Oh, you did see the list somewhere? Well, in this section,
It's in that file right there.
TV copy, yeah.
those are for Justin.
Just that you be so kind and sign that. Okay. Martell, Robert Martell, no. There's not that many, there's, in the,
Probably less than 15.
no, a little bit more than that. Okay. We'll discuss with him. Just note, the police chief, I know, before he does anything, to talk to me about it, okay? This will be, keep that with him. Okay, mailbox items, we have a significant number of things in the mailbox, so let's go through it. Sergeant, Chief Remenard is at it again. He essentially got another grant, and this time a grant is for the cameras,
Body worn.
body worn cameras. So he's saving the town a heck of a lot of money, and it's, basically protects the public, the police, and everyone, because cameras, you can't, tells it the way it is, and so he's gonna, we gotta sign off on it, then he essentially submits that for funding.
Mike, does anybody know where the electronic speed limit sign is? I haven't seen it around.
I saw it about 3 weeks ago, I'm trying to think where I saw it. I did see it in town, I was going 2 miles over the speed limit, so the thing is, I said, hey, it's working.
Yeah, I haven't seen it around, I was just curious.
No, it's around there, because I saw it about 3 weeks ago, and.
You know, we have two of them now too, right?
Yeah,
We got one that's always supposed to be up and then the other one's mobile.
I don't,
Is there one up there, son? No?
not that I know of.
Thought it was on the speed limits.
I'll have to check into that, cause I don't remember until several weeks now either. That does give me a little reminder too.
Okay, you can start signing it, I'll go to the next sign. All right, we got some information from the contractor about tile for the town. Oh, yes, there you go. Okay, thank you, take care. Tile for the town hall restoration, and the thing is, when they sent this tile over, I thought we were gonna pick the color, but I understand that this is just an FYI, they already picked the colors, which were neutral colors to start
Yeah,
with.
the architect, I believe, picked the colors and it was just an FYI for us to
Okay.
select board.
So I'm gonna apologize to Mary, because I was gonna engage Mary in helping me, instead of the board selecting the colors, I was gonna let Mary do it, maybe the library trustees, but the thing is, since it's already done, it's relatively neutral colors. I have no issue with that, I'm glad they gave us a courtesy to see what's going in there. Neutral colors are a lot better than white, because white just shows everything. Okay, there was an issue this week, we all know about it, with, some of the siding. So there's discussion between our building inspector, our volunteer town engineer, and, the architect, and it's been resolved. And everyone's satisfied with that, you know, that.
Was that the insulation one?
Yes, the green sheathing, and, I was pleasantly surprised, Mike Cummings, our building inspector, was right on top of it, and, it's, some of the issues are beyond my comprehension, but sometimes when you put that sheathing up, and that, you have to be, involved in the nailing pattern to make it functional. I didn't even realize that, the nailing pattern was that important, but obviously it was. Okay, remember, gentlemen, just an FYI, this, information in here, when they do the, test next time for the alarm systems, they're gonna also do, testing of I just know they're expanding the testing, I'm not sure what it is. Yes, okay, I can speak to it now. We have, just an FYI, we have some, rapid response police, notifications, in case we need, augmentation at any particular office. They're gonna test those as part of their testing of the alarm systems. I don't think they've ever been tested. All right, gentlemen, we have an estimate here, for at the transfer station for $228. There's a 4-inch rigid, there's a piping, if you recall, in the bathroom area, inside the, office area, it was leaking.
Oh, yeah.
And Greg Miller gave us an estimate to basically, fix it. Cut out an old duct, install new rigid pipe, seal it with full of tape, and remove it and fix it. Reseal with silicone. He's essentially saying supplies of $48, labor $60, and labor for $120 to install it.
Where was that?
In the bathroom area,
Oh, okay, I didn't
Okay.
get to see that, so I'm fine with that.
I have no issue. Consensus, gentlemen? It's approved. Bottom there.
We need to make a motion on it, Mike.
Yeah, read that motion, we'll make a motion on that one. I told Lean, and the thing is, this town manager, that's small enough where, that's within the jurisdiction of, or the authority of the town administrator to make things.
I think all expenditures might have to be in motion, so.
Yeah, but that's so small, that's under 500, but we'll make a motion on it just for the make it
We'll
official.
have to ask the auditors then if we could do that.
Yeah, because the nickel and dime stuff,
Yeah, I agree with you.
You wanna make a motion?
please, just to be a total amount of money.
Make a motion to approve the estimate for $228.90 to, fix the bathroom fan at the transfer station.
And to be executed by, the last name?
Greg Miller.
I second that.
All in favor?
Any further discussion on that? No. I agree, let's get a clarification on that.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Flex seal.
Flex seal, yeah, right.
Okay,
Okay.
you want to initial this? This up?
Next action item, Eric?
Yeah, a few other open.
All right, there's more correspondence regarding, the sheathing on the building there, that's been,
Yeah.
that's what we've already done. There's more information on the body cameras, I'll keep those together, Dave.
Okay.
Okay, remember, there was some discussion on the, on Dunbarton, growing. We were just kind of curious to see where our population was. The reported population, started in 2010 was 2,758 residents. In 2020, we're up to 3,005 residents. I know the question is, how much growth do we have? Someone did pull that off Wikipedia, believe it or not. Okay, we got some input from, coming in. Remember that, we're gonna have a workshop later, in July. We're gonna be reviewing all town fees for services provided by the various departments. There'll be a workshop to determine the fees, the proposals, changes, and then there'll be a public hearing thereafter to implement and vote on, and take public input.
We are pushing that to our policy and procedure date, cause I thought we
We're
were
gonna
gonna
do it-
discuss them tonight and then have policy and procedures
No, I
on that day.
don't think we're gonna discuss it tonight, I think we're
I thought it was in July.
July, yeah.
July is policy and procedures. What this was is tonight we were gonna have a public hearing, and what Lean learned is at the formation of the public hearing, you have to put these fees on the notification of public hearing, which ones you wanna change from.
Right, we have to have a workshop to establish
Yes.
changes.
And we hadn't had that, so tonight we canceled this public meeting on looking at those, but I thought we were still gonna discuss the changes.
I have no problem, we can, we'll just put that aside, we'll do it towards the end.
Yeah, I'd say we'll do that too then.
Okay. Public can stick around for that, but the thing is, we are not gonna vote on anything tonight, we're just gonna come up with some, ideas of which way we wanna go. Then there'll be a public hearing where people can input, and there'll be delineated which fees will be changed. Okay, we'll come back to that then. Get reconciliation, signatures needed. Eric, I understand we're making progress with those,
Yes, very well.
and
February of 2022, reconciled.
And for the, I gave Lean instructions about the personnel policy workshop. We're gonna have a workshop where we talk about personnel policies. I like to have the department heads, provide their their recommended changes in writing to the board, so we can be prepared to discuss it at the workshop.
Good thinking.
I don't expect the department heads to attend unless they're really passionate about a certain, change in the personnel policy they wanna bring forward. But I don't wanna be, surprised at the 9th hour when we're trying to make changes, that someone comes in with a change that we never even thought about. So I'm asking that you get a notice from Lean to get those, changes and us in writing, doesn't have to be perfect penmanship and stuff like that, but, just so we can have an idea which way you wanna change the personnel policy. Just have a copy for you, Dave, for you for homework, and one for me for homework. Okay, that takes care of the mailbox for now.
I've completed this, you wanna give that to Justin?
Yep.
and-
Well, keep
So you
serving
can take the reconciliation.
reconciliation, save signatures. Open it for public comment again.
No, thank you.
Bob?
Only one thing, you were talking about insulating the foundation on the outside,
Correct,
and I know that concrete's a thermal barrier.
correct.
And it stores the energy from and then 2 feet on the flat, under the slab. So I'm wondering why they didn't consider if they wanted to, you know, to insulate that area, using that method rather than the outside method, because even that styrofoam that you put there, after a while, separates.
Right.
Before you know it, you know,
It's
whatever
lost its
happens,
purpose.
happens, whether somebody bumps it and it cracks, and it breaks. I mean, it's, becomes a constant maintenance nightmare, you know, so.
We,
Yeah, I
there
mean,
was that disconnect between her notes that say the structural plans, and it's not shown at all on the structural plans
Right.
because it's not part of Jeff's structure, pretty much. And so it should have been clear on that, and I brought that same fact up to the architect. I said, typically, that's underneath the slab and against the foundation wall,
Right.
down at least 2 feet. And she didn't have it on there, so they backfilled it like normal, and then she come up with this idea of doing this after, and
Yeah, it's
I
kinda,
wasn't,
I don't see success with it after the fact. And I
above
just-
grade, below grade would be all right, but above,
Right,
above grade, it
above
just,
grade, you're correct.
yeah.
Below grade, there's no
But
purpose.
even above grade, cause you don't have the insulation on the inside, if
Yeah.
you didn't have it above grade, that's a thermal barrier that stores the energy. So on a real hot day, if it's hot all day long,
Right.
that'll give off heat at night. I know, cause I have a slab on grade house. All day long, my house is cool. It throws off the heat, that slab throws off the heat at night, you know?
Well, the thing is, I think we're just not gonna go with it, based on your identical concerns, and that is some of our concerns too, because a soft foam on the outside, even if it's got stucco on it, a weed eater can take it out in a heartbeat.
Well, first the stucco, then the foam.
Yeah, it just never holds up, and no sense in leaving something that's not gonna hold up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a maintenance problem for us.
And the thing is, it's not media space, that part of the building is just stairwell and umbrella, elevator, excuse me, umbrella.
We'll,
So it's I don't think it's not an issue at this point, I think we're in agreement. Thank you, Bob, for your time.
You know what happens when they leave it above grade, eventually it gets cut off at grade and covered.
Yeah, you see what happens is it disappears and no one replaces it.
Jeff, we're in public comment.
Yes, I just wanted to make kind of an announcement with the highway department. We're gonna be changing some culvert pipes in the very near future. I don't have the exact date, waiting for them to July on Robert Rogers Road in the vicinity of Jacqueline Drive. And we will be closing the road off for detouring traffic around. We'll put some signage up ahead of time to kind of try to notify the people as much as possible. Maybe work with the
Go into Bow and into Kimber Pond.
well, around, County Road.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice cutoff.
And, so just so you know, you'll probably hear some grumbling.
Right.
We'll try to put some we'll put some signage up ahead of time, but we can't reach everybody. I'll work with the town office, I'll put it on the website or something.
Website, and we put on the marquee too. A small, just say, be aware of.
I guess.
Yeah, but the thing is.
I'm not in charge of the marquees.
No, but we can,
That's something definitely should,
yeah, we can do that.
I don't know the process.
No, just Lean, just talk to Lean.
But I'm sure there'll be some grumbling on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, if
And
they want the
what
road,
is-
they want the road paved, that's what they
Well,
want.
the thing is, it's the most efficient way for us to do the culvert crossing. And so we're gonna do that on a limited basis, but there's 3 in a row there, so. And we waited, obviously, till school was out, so the traffic going.
When will it start?
Hmm?
When is start date?
At some point in July,
Okay.
I'm waiting for the culverts to arrive.
And how long do you think it would be closed like that?
Could be 3 or 4 days.
Okay, so that's,
A short period of time. And it might not be every day, it might be one day.
the residents will still be to get home.
Yeah, but we'll put a little signage up first. We're also, next week on Wednesday, we're closing Long Pond Road and Dawn and Dunn's property for just the day, or part of the day, to put a new cross culvert across there, that issue that has been talked about in the past.
Send them down the way to kill them.
Anyway, I guess you'll hear some grumbling, I'm sure.
But we can definitely put it on the website. We can, send it on the marquee, if you just,
As always, I notify the police and the fire department, so they know what's going on. But it's just, there's no way we really can do it efficiently and.
Okay.
Roads to
out, yeah, exactly, and then the rest of the work we can do when we drive. Just to be aware, like I said, you probably hear some level of grumbling, but,
Then again, the roads will be.
well, yeah, it needs to be done.
Thank you.
Eric will hear it, I guess.
Yep.
He'll get the.
I'll get the phone calls.
He'll get the phone calls. He fields my phone calls.
Okay,
So that's it, that's all I just wanted to.
I'll close the public comment, and, let's return to fees. Should we talk about fees?
Yeah, let's, do I sign that list up? I think I did.
Okay.
This here is, just one other announcement, we did receive that grant also for the OHRV again this year from the police department. That's not it, Mike. Just reminded me that the one that they annually get for down there. Okay, I think if we just kind of cover the proposed, cause I do see some here.
Okay.
The police department special duty services, and this is for a special duty, car and officer. The current, officer is 42, they're proposing to move that to 48. The admin charge was currently 10. They were gonna change it to 12, and we had done some previous talking with them. They moved that up to $15 per the board of selectmen. Or actually, that's what we're gonna ask them for. The cruiser was 15 currently, and they're gonna move the cruiser to 18 per the board of selectmen public hearing. And, officer without a cruiser will be $63 instead of 52 currently. And officer with cruiser will be $81 total per the board of selectmen. And those are recommended changes, that we've been working with. The police department actually brought that up to us because the rates have increased for other towns and we haven't increased ours in a couple of years, so.
No, we don't wanna be the go-to all the time.
Yeah. I'll go through any others that I see on here. The public hearing will be announced later on. It looks like under the transfer station, under demolition, it was $1.50 a cubic foot. He'd like to go to $1.75, and he did notify me when I was in meeting with him that all of these rates next year on this, stuff is gonna be going up substantially as everything else has, so.
No, on his side, yes.
Yeah, when we sign the new contract, so, shingles, he wants to bring up, and, sheet rock from $2 per cubic foot to $2.25.
Isn't this your last increase? Why does it say
No.
public hearing for the 25th, 2019?
I think that was the date she had on the printout.
That's that whole column here.
Those are your current rates you're reading off.
Yeah, you're reading off the current. Which
Well,
you guys
current than the proposed.
No, that's from 2019.
Oh,
And
so
that's,
she
and
hasn't
the first
finished
column
it
was
all.
from 2012, so these aren't proposed.
Those are your actual rates as of today.
Okay, we have no proposal from the police department on the new amounts then?
No.
Cause they did give us one.
And I did, the transfer station has the sheet as well for him to fill out.
I guess we'll just wait and let us get more information on it.
That's what I was thinking, because I,
This meeting tonight, we were supposed to read the proposed amounts, so that way when we had our public meeting, it was okay.
Right,
Because those amounts would be notified.
but I have but I have some research they did, we got, other towns with their charging, as an example.
You know,
Then I have the Dunbarton transfer station schedule, which is.
I thought I could read the proposed, but I guess those are old.
Right.
That was from 3 years ago.
Well, so much for informing the public, we're just waiting.
No, and I thought the police department wanted to come in here and talk to us
They
about the
did,
fees.
Chris talked about Brian coming in.
Exactly, and I don't see him
Because he was
here.
on vacation.
Right. All right, why don't we table this?
Yeah.
My original idea.
That shortens our meeting up nice.
All right, no, the thing is, what we don't wanna do is, shoot from the hip.
No, I just wanted to read it in the public meeting, but I guess those are old proposed numbers.
No, I think it's,
We would have given people some time to think about them and talk about them, but I guess that's not gonna work out.
well, we can delay public hearing if we have to.
Well, maybe by July we'll have
Yeah.
a new list.
Cause, thing is, I talked to the chief, and he said, he alluded to the fact that sergeant's gonna be available for the run, and that, he said that.
Somehow this went all by the wayside, but that's okay.
Okay.
We have some stuff going on this week, so.
So for the publics, we're not prepared to make any have a valid discussion on fees, we're gonna defer that, and we'll get back to it probably at our next meeting.
Michael,
Yes,
when he was reading the rates, I remember that we had that discussion where they wanted to go to 15, and we talked about going to 18, because they were getting extra money, and we wanted to get extra money.
Yeah, that's why it says proposed by the Board of
So
Selectmen.
that's why I say, those numbers were familiar to back then.
yeah, I think 18's gonna go to 23.
And again, they are looking for more money again, because other towns are getting more, but again, we're gonna try and get more. What they were trying to do is not keep adding to the administration fee, because if it took a half hour to board it up before, it should take the same half an hour. But I don't think we're gonna,
And the thing is, the police details it's a win-win, because we get some dollars for vehicles, and the vehicle sits there, and if, as long as it's not idling too long, we're good. And, gives the police officer some extra dollars, and gives the town some extra dollars.
Right, but the administration fee when they're full-time officers, it has to cover that percentage that the town pays into the state retirement. Remember we had that
Right.
discussion
We have,
before?
so we have to make it enough to cover
If
that.
it was Joe Miliano or anyone else that's part-time, where they're not affected by the retirement, it has no impact. But when you put a full-timer, it has an impact.
A negative impact to the town. Okay, I'm gonna talk, Eric, this is the time when we go around the room, we did the public, we bring it to the town officials, and so if you have anything for the board, you can shop with us now. Do we miss anything that you need to continue on for this week?
The one thing I wanted to ask for,
no raises tonight.
Yeah.
Let me find.
the notices to leave for the changes before the workshop, do you want a deadline for that, for the notices?
The thing is, we want them in probably, I'd say we want it a couple days before the meeting, so we can.
I would say at least a week.
A week
Yeah,
before, at
so
least,
we-
yeah, to kinda,
So
get it all together.
next Thursday deadline.
Okay.
How's that, Joe? And, a personal note, a separate note to the police department, we want them on the schedule, because they wanted to be there in person.
Yeah, Brian, I think is planning to attend.
Either Brian or if the chief's back, he can go.
Absolutely, okay. That was it for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, we will bring it back to the board, I'll bring it to Justin.
We had a joint loss meeting, last week, we found out a few things, fire extinguishers were all out of date throughout the town.
Out of date.
Yeah, all out of date. So we Lean has already set up an appointment for June 29th, which would be next Wednesday, to have the company come in and replace all those, or recharge them, whatever needs to be done. That transfer station fan repair, also something else at joint loss, Chief Remillard, he, offered to do an active shooter for the town police, active shooter training. So that's projected to be done on July 12th at 3 in the town offices here. So I believe they're gonna be closing early.
July 12th at 3.
Yeah.
Let me write that down, I'll try and make that.
So they will.
Should we bring our weapons?
I don't think so.
I think you opened it up for all the town employees.
Yeah, it's
so
all,
library,
all town
everybody's
employees are
involved.
welcome, it's here at 3, and like I said, I believe you guys are closing early
Yes.
that day,
Yeah.
so we'll have to let everybody
We
know.
have that posted on the website.
Okay.
As soon as he pops up, I'll drop him.
And another,
Better have his vest.
another thing too, we had talked about there was CPR AED training, with Chief Wiggins from the fire department. He's getting that set up, there's no date, for that yet, but I know most town employees are gonna, everybody in the office. at
Eric,
least,
where's the
is gonna be a
building?
Right in the hallway. And, yeah, Mark Lane was gonna help him with that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does
We
the
gonna
training
get
for the police
A
department.
mask, or we're gonna have to do mouth to mouth?
I don't know, we didn't get the details.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And another thing too, we have some open, from Greg Miller, we have some repair quotes that haven't been taken care of. I know one of them is the windows, I was asked about.
Right.
If someone's,
We
I
did
don't know.
approve the windows, right?
You
We
guys
have-
talked about it, approved it, you guys talked and approved about the fan at the transfer station as well, just those items haven't been taken care
Yeah,
of.
the fan was just now, but, the windows I know was, what, a month or two
Do you
ago, so
want,
we
when
should
you
reach
call
out to.
Greg to give him the the go ahead on there, can you remind him about the windows?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely,
And there was
yeah,
a couple other things, wasn't there?
yeah.
But there was like, we had talked about two or three
Well,
things that he has.
it was a transfer station item, it was for the fan, so I don't know if it's the same item as that,
Oh,
but
it's
I'll
not?
take a look at
Okay.
it and definitely give him
The
a call.
fan versus in the break area?
This was in the bathroom,
In the bathroom area, yeah.
Wasn't there something small,
in a,
at the police department too?
Well, that was just a mice we had
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
He had approved through Monadnock last.
we actually just received that bill today
Yep.
from that.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, oh, by the way, I took a good look at the bright windows in the translucent, they look great. At the recycling center, a lot of light comes in,
It does.
and it looks really, it's a major improvement.
And you notice, I know that they might warm the building up, but they don't have to run the regular lights when that light is coming in.
Right, and that, regular lights generate heat too,
Yeah,
so, that's why, I thought they looked great.
We got the heat in the winter.
I got no complaints about it when I was there.
Okay, great. Dave, to you.
I'm good, we covered everything.
All right, I basically have, nothing for the group. The thing is, I just think, I wanna get, the biggest thing, I wanna make sure we get some responses on the fees. I think the transfer station fees, he needs to give us some proposals, what he would like.
Yeah.
The thing is, one of the fees that I was concerned with just on the transfer station, we were gonna consider opening up the commercial. And remember years ago, it was super high, then before my time, the selectmen lowered it to a ridiculous low rate.
I know we should increase that, I believe you're right also.
I don't think we're opening them up yet to the commercials.
We haven't, but we did talk about bringing that rate up if we were to over.
Right.
It's like $250 or something a year now. so-
Right, which is ridiculously low. And so I'd like to, have Woody give us some input, because my complaint as a citizen, I'd go down there and I'd have to wait, because they'd be,
Commercially.
wait on the commercial stuff, because they're taking up one lane in the recycling center, and they're there for like half an hour, so it cuts it down 50%. And then when you go to the hopper, yeah, sometimes they used to pull in front, didn't block, but if they're blocking, that cuts it down by 50%. That's inconvenience for the residents. Although they are supporting residents, I realize that.
And I wanna make sure it's town trash too.
Right. Okay, so I just bring that up as we talk about, so Woody, I need some input for his fees. And it can be, doesn't have to be fancy on a spreadsheet, he can take the current fees and take pen and ink, and then we can make copies of them.
Right
I
down.
did actually put, in compare and contrast to other towns.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fees, and there are towns that do charge commercial fees.
Okay.
And it's an excessive rate rather than like a resident dropping off their general trash.
And I think, we have that commercial rate as well. A lot of those bigger towns do have the scales so they can do it more properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a tough measurement system.
Okay, that's all I have, so do I hear a motion, gentlemen?
Make a motion to adjourn at 7:53.
Not bad.
It's not bad,
Quickest-
not a record, but not bad.
That's the quickest